What if I told you that the story behind Stephen King's Christine was based on a real life evil car that actually existed in real life? Well, it was actually based on a real car that did all the murders that happened back in its time, as it was a real Christine car. This is the story of the Golden Eagle. So, what exactly is the Golden Eagle? The Golden Eagle is a bright orange 1964 Dodge Polara police car that was originally used for police work in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. However, the alleged curse was actually caused by three police officers who committed suicide after murdering all of their families in gruesome ways. And in fact, this allegedly caused the curse to happen to teenagers who were involved in wrecking the car and likely caused all 24 deaths at the same time, including at different ways on how they would actually die. It has been rumored that one guy was crushed to death by a truck and a bus. Another one was said to be struck by lightning, and three more were likely burned alive in a house fire, and likely this was the cause of 24 deaths in total. This was likely the beginning of what Stephen King thought to be a coincidence, but according to this, the coincidences all were linked due to one car committing all the murders. However, most police officers convinced of the fact that the curse wasn't just random. Some people say that the murder spree wasn't caused as a homicide attack, but it was likely due to the fact that an evil car was roaming around, killing people who ever touched it. It is also rumored that the vandals who were involved in destroying the car ended up dying in gruesome ways that eventually led to their loss of lives. Many people believe that the cursed car was said to be alive, something that they didn't expect, like the entire car randomly fixed itself at night. Some people say that they have seen the car turn the engine on without the keys inside. Some people would also say that the windows would slowly roll up or roll down. Some others say that the steering wheel would move either left or move right. Some others say that the car would suddenly turn on its headlights without anyone being behind the wheel. This could likely be that the true fact that Stephen King had based his novel on a real life evil car. So that could mean one thing. If Stephen King knew that the cursed car was allegedly a Dodge, this could likely be that he chosen a forgotten car at the time of the 1980s, namely a 1958 Plymouth Fury. But why choose a 1958 Plymouth Fury? Well, it's actually said to believe that the Plymouth Fury was a forgotten car at that time, and everyone knew its notoriety for being one of the most unsettlingly unseen cars on the road. It is also said that the fact that all the victims who were killed by the Dodge Polara was likely not because it was connected to someone, but it could likely be that the fact that all the vandals who were involved in the deaths after being gruesomely murdered by the car wasn't just likely a random pattern, but it could likely be a punishable fact that the car came back to life and punished those who were having the guts to destroy the car. So it could likely mean that this wasn't just caused as a homicide attack, but it could likely be that the homicidal attack was caused by vengeance itself. And likely the Dodge Polara took its anger out on the people who were involved in the vandalism attempt. While many people not heard of the story by Stephen King, many people believe that the Dodge Polara was believed to be possessed by some sort of demon. Some other people say that the car was likely not just a car, but could likely be a demonic serial killer in the form of a car. So this could likely be one thing in mind. If the Dodge Polara was called the most evil car in America, then why would people say that the car was a demonic serial killer? Well, it's actually believed that the cursed Dodge Polara was likely possessed or driven by the devil himself, while other people say that the car was driven by some kind of ghost or some other evil entity that was sitting behind the wheel late at night and randomly would have gone on to attack multiple victims who were involved in the vandalizing attempt of the car. However, most people weren't clearly sure whether or not the car was driven by some sort of demon or ghost or other supernatural occurrences. Some people say that the coincidences of the murders were just caused by a car who did nothing wrong and did not do anything to be involved in a homicide spree. However, multiple police officers have believed to the fact that whoever was responsible for the murders wasn't just trying to protect the car. It's likely due to the fact that these deaths were accidentally caused by people themselves believing that the car was cursed. And here's another thing. Although many people have destroyed the car, many people still don't know that the car was still alive and likely did all of this just to prove its point that many people can't just mess with one car. Although it's not particularly sure whether or not the homicide spree was caused by one car, but many people believe that after destroying the car, the scattered parts of the car later or somehow returned back to the car after being separated from the body. While many people believe that this curse actually was a widespread fact, that multiple officers have investigated that each of the deaths were caused by different means necessary. Some group of kids were crushed to death by a bus, some others were struck by lightning, and others were burned down alive in a house fire. This could likely mean one thing. If the curse was so strong, then that means the car didn't just attack random people, but it could likely be that the car was going after the people who were the ones responsible for damaging or ripping off its parts just to prove a point. So, could this be one thing? Did Stephen King base his novel Christine on an evil car that just wanted to pay back at the people who were responsible for destroying and tearing the car apart? Well, yes. In fact, while many people have hated the car being possessed, many people thought of destroying it, but boy were they wrong. The car would obviously come back alive and attack them piece by piece in every gruesome way possible. So this is likely the story of how Stephen King got the idea for Christine. I hope you guys enjoy watching this long-awaited video. Make sure that you guys comment, like, and subscribe.